this week on Monday, if you paid attention, you saw that I was showcasing the Nothing's Better Than stamp set. And I'm going to use that again today using the Stamparatus so that you can see what the Stamparatus can do. And I just wanted to point out that let's see, get to the right place here. The Nothing's Better Than bundle can be found on page 176 in the catalog. You get 10% off when you purchase the stamps and dies together. And why wouldn't you anyway, right? So enjoy that 10% off. So that is there. And I also, one of my posts Monday, I said, what do you like best? Chocolate, cookies, cocktails. What's the third one? Chocolate cookie. Fourth one, I mean. Coffee. I forgot coffee because I'm not a coffee drinker. And I said, reply down below, and nobody did. Nobody told me what their favorites were. And I was going to use that as kind of my guide for what I was going to make today. But nobody responded. And also I was going to give this card away in a drawing to the people that responded. Sometimes I like to do sneaky things like that, but nobody responded. So I'm going to keep this one myself. Okay, so let's just open up to the Stamparatus so you can see just some things that I want to point out about it. So the Stamparatus is a stamp positioner that helps you get the stamp exactly where you want it, and you'll see in the demonstration how that works. But I also want to point out a few things here. The magnets. You can purchase extra magnets because when you are using the Stamparatus and those magnets are super, super heavy duty magnets, and if by chance they would snap together, they very easily break. So we have replacements, which is nice because I've done that. And I was able to replace my magnets with that. I also want to point out that the grid paper can be really, really helpful. So I'm going to show that also today so that you can see why that's helpful. And I even use it in regular projects too, not just on the Stamparatus. So I wanted to show you that. And I also, while I have the catalog out, I wanted to share that we will be using the Label Me Lovely and Label Me Fancy punches today. And I've been using those quite a bit actually lately. And they are, I always get the names mixed up, so I wanted to have the catalog open to it. But they are designed to use together, so that's what we're going to do today. You don't have to use them together, but in this case, it works out really great to use them together. And one more thing I wanted to point out, the beautiful ribbon that I'm going to use today is the Real Red Sheer ribbon, which is on page 15 in the Poinsettia Place suite of the August to December mini catalog. And the reason I point that out is because I think you're gonna ooh and ah over that ribbon, and I wanted you to know where to find it. So let's get out our cardstock. We're using Cinnamon Cider, Real Red, Whisper White. We've also got some Cinnamon Cider Designer Series paper that comes in the 2020 to 2022 in color Designer Series paper pack. That's a mouthful. I feel like Stampin' Up! Has come up with long names of things just to drive me crazy. Okay, so I've got a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 Whisper White cardstock, and I've already got my chocolate, actually, the word chocolate mounted onto my Stamparatus already. And then I'm going to use my grid paper, and then I'll be able to know exactly that my paper is straight. You know, that's kind of a big deal, right? You want to make sure your paper is straight. So we're going to get this all, let's get my corners square with the grid paper. And then we'll grab, I'm going to use one magnet today. I hope I don't regret that. And then I'm just going to make sure, yep, it looks like that's going to work just fine. And I'm going to start with my Cinnamon Cider ink pad and the hinge step technique that I'm going to use today. And I'm sorry, I'm not watching all of your comments, but I will get to them if there are any questions later. So I'm going to ink up that chocolate with Cinnamon Cider ink, and the hinge step technique is simply this. You stamp You lift the plate and you put it down into the next notch, and then just keep stamping and keep moving your stamp as you go. Now, there are a couple of different ways that you can go about this, and see, I'm slipping a little. I probably should have used one more magnet. But when you do that, you can re-ink it each time so that it's got the same intensity with every stamped image. But I just wanted to do it like this, and that's my prerogative, to do it so that it just gets lighter and lighter. And then I'm going to set that chocolate aside for a minute, and I'm going to grab a scratch piece of Whisper White. And it doesn't really matter where it goes or how it goes, because I am going to be punching it out with our Label Me Fancy punch. All right, so I'm going to take next the outline of my, you know what, and I'm going to stamp it this way, I think, because that's the way my punch works. Or here, I'll just do it like this. Okay, so I'm going to leave a little bit of space here. I'm going to get that lined up where I want it. Again, I don't have to be real picky because I'm going to be punching it out. So I just want to know that I'm going to have it on my scrap paper, and then push my plate down and lift up. I need 2 magnets. This is a good lesson for you. Do as I say, not as I do. All right, so then we're going to take real red ink, and notice I'm being really careful with how lightly that I ink that up. And then we're going to stamp that on there, and then remove that. And then we're going to take the inside of the chocolates, and if you don't have a steady hand, or you're afraid it's not going to go right in the middle, this is a great option. Now, with that being said, I can't see quite over the top of my stamp. So if it's not exactly straight, don't blame the Stamparatus. It is user error. All right, so I've got that chocolate piece lined up with the red outline, and then I'm going to push that down, and this time I really do want my paper to stay. All right, hopefully that'll work. I really, really implore you to use 2 magnets so that doesn't happen. Back to the cinnamon cider ink and your chocolate. Ink that up and then close it down. I can already see it has shifted, so I'm going to move it over. Let's try to problem solve this. This is not the way the Stamparatus works best, so I have tested it to its limits. See, we're off, but it's still cute. It's like there's a light coming over from the left-hand side that is shining down on those chocolates. All right, 2 magnets, people. 2 magnets. I should have known better. What happened was I had purchased those because I broke one, and it is in my Stamparatus holder, which I could not find at the moment. So that is my own fault, and now I'm learning from it. Okay, and I'm just going to use the Label Me Fancy punch to punch out those chocolates. And then using my red scrap, it's more of a larger piece. It's a small scrap I had in my envelope. And then we're going to take the Label Me Lovely. I think I got those names right. Okay, so then let's grab everything else so that we're ready to put this together. So I've got my piece of 5.5 by 8.5 cinnamon cider cardstock, and I'm going to take 4 by 5 1/4 and stick that on the inside of my card. We're going to start with that, just to get that out of the way. Okay, and then we could certainly stamp some chocolate down there in the corner. And then we're going to build this before doing anything else, because we're going to want that ribbon to go around just this part and not stick it on the card prematurely. So we're going to take the DSP, just put some adhesive on there using our new Stamp and Seal adhesive. And see, I got a little on here, which is just fine because it is plasticky and I'll be able to rub that right off. Okay, and then we're going to take the ribbon. So remember that sheer ribbon I pointed out in the August to December mini catalog just a little bit ago? There it is. So we're going to wrap that around. And I have about 18 inches here, and I figure usually when I'm going around the width of the card, the short side of the card, 18 inches is about what I like to work with. So 18 inches, just a little tip for you. But look at how nicely that ribbon just zips right up into a bow. I love it. Okay, and then of course we want to trim that down with our snips. Now keep in mind too, I've got card kits available for anyone purchasing $50 or more. Each month that is the case. And card kits are 3 cards that are basically stamped and ready to assemble. It's a free card kit, so I can send you stamped images without getting into trouble. So that's kind of fun. Okay, then we're going to take our Label Me. Oh man, I think it's lovely, but see how I get talking, then I forget. All right, we're just going to put a couple of dimensionals on there. Notice what my dimensionals look like. That's because I always cut them for class. So I end up with these weird shapes after I send people their supplies in the mail. So that's just going to go, it's going to overlap then my ribbon. And then we're going to take our chocolate and put it on here like so. So chocolate, 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 chocolate. Fun stuff. There you go, using the hinge step technique with the Stamparatus.